In this lesson, we're actually going to be creating a user. The first thing I need to do is to become root. I am currently logged in as my user, and I need to become root because only the root user or somebody with root level privileges can create users. I'm going to use the switch user command, or SU, and just by habit use a dash after it. What that does is it really logs me in as that user and puts me into their home directory. Now I have to actually log in with the password. And you can see here in the prompt, I'm actually the root user now. So I'm logged in as root. Now I can use user add. And user add has a lot of parameters that we can use. And I'm just going to keep it simple here for the purposes of creating our first user that we want to put onto this system. In addition to myself and of course the root user, I want to add just a common user now. The first thing I need to do is I need to give the user a shell so they can actually log in. I'm going to give this user the common shell, which is the born again shell, or bash. So -s is the shell that we're going to use. Now, a home directory is where the user is actually going to do all of their work. They're going to put their files. That's where they're really going to live. That's their home. I'm going to put their home directory into /home/me. And the home directory, you usually give the directory name the same as the username, which suggests that I'm going to create a user called me. Now, I am going to want the system to actually create the home directory for me and populate it with the common files that would be in there. So a profile file and a couple of other files that would commonly be put into there. So I'm going to say -m for create home directory. And let's just skim through here and see if there's anything else that we need to do here. I'm not actually going to do much of anything else. We're going to leave that alone. And now I'm just going to place me as the username. You can see the user add options login. Login is the username, and that's going to be me. Now, let's just take a look at the password file, see what we created. And let's look at the password file in the correct place. You can see we created me. And again, the password file doesn't store the password. The user ID is 501. It did create a group for me, and that's 501. My home directory and bin/bash. Now, I didn't create a name, or I didn't put a name in there, which I could have done. And let's just take a look at home. You'll see home is there, and we'll take a look inside the home directory. And there are a handful of files that it put in. So the bash logout, bash profile, bash rc. These are all startup scripts that would run when you logged into the system with set environment variables and various other things like the shell prompt, for instance. Now there's a GNOME2 directory where there are some configuration settings, and there's a Mozilla directory where the browser would actually store some things. Your web browser would store some configuration settings and so forth. User add is a pretty common utility. It's pretty easy to use. Again, you're going to say user add options, and here are all of the options. If you get stuck, all you have to do is type user add, and it will come up to this help screen here. What we did was we set a shell, -s. We set a directory, which would be the home directory, so -d. We had the system create the home directory, so that's -m. What I could have done would have been add a comment, which would have actually put a real name. We could have put a real name in there. That's the GCOS field. And GCOS is the General Electric Consolidated Operating System. It goes way, way, way back to the 60s or so. I could have put a comment in. I'm not going to worry about doing that right now. We've got our user. We've created the home directory, so at this point, we're pretty good with creating the user and having it all set up so somebody could log in and actually make use of it.